Hi all guys, I've been watching Chasing Dreams and today we have an exciting personality on the show. He's none other than Espen Fadness. He is a world champion wingsuiter and also public speaker. He's a Guinness Book World Recorder and also an extreme sport adventure athlete. And I'm so glad to have you on the show. And it's an honor and dream to even talk to you and share space along with you and get to know your knowledge and your journey that you have come across till date. And I'm so excited for this, and hopefully you do. And thanks a lot for joining. I've been busy flying and doing all your adventures and stuff. Thanks a lot for joining. Uh, so, how are you, and how are things there, Espen?
Well, first of all, thank you, Kati. That was an incredible introduction.
Thank
That
you.
was awesome. I think first of all, it's really nice being here and really nice having time to have a good talk about whatever you would like to talk about. I hope it's mostly about flying, but
Yes.
it's good to be here, and maybe this talk will make people, you and everyone, realize that I'm just a human being that is passionate about something.
Passionate about flying, I would say.
Passionate about flying, exactly.
Flying like a bird that's behind you.
Just
Exactly.
like that bird. Just like that
Yeah.
bird. Yeah.
Yes, and thanks a lot for joining once again. So we are so excited to know. We knew Espen Fadness in Instagram, what he does, and also his project. He just flies like a bird and all those, and we are all like, how does he do this? And like people go, wow, and like they also wanted to do this, and all this comes into picture. And I hope you're going to make all your journeys and also guiding people towards how to become a wingsuit pilot. Also, we'll talk about all these in this episode. So, how was your earlier life before skydiving or flying, Ispen?
It's a good question. So my childhood, my childhood was very normal for a Norwegian. I think it wasn't a particularly like wild or crazy life. It was a lot about school, like going to
Okay.
school, being with friends. I come from a family that is very interested in nature. So I was brought
Okay.
into nature. I go fishing, go hiking in the mountains, also climbing, being in boats, and just like being quite active when I had time. And my parents wasn't very much into competitions, but I was a very active kid, so I was doing a lot. Like I was doing karate, I was doing wrestling, I was doing football, I was skiing, I was running, like all kinds of different sports, and yeah, a very active childhood. And I had a father that was a very skilled climber, and
Okay.
he traveled a lot around in the world climbing, and I really admired him and his friends, and I dreamed of like going out in the world and do like them. They were mostly in the home region, but they were often out like risking for fun. And then when I got about 18 years old, I started to more and more make my own deliberate choices. But it was expected in the local community to have a proper job, to have you do well in school, get a good education, get a good job, and these questions between doing what society expected of me and doing something I more dreamed of doing, they were kind of battling in me. So I went to the university and I studied there for many years, really hard, and got a job as a geographer making maps. And so I continued doing what was expected of me in society or in my local environment. But at the same time, I took the skydive course. So I learned how to jump out of airplanes. It was
Okay.
next to the studies. So yeah, I went to the military for a year. Everybody have to do that in Norway.
Okay.
And because of that year, I had a little bit extra money. So I took all the money I got from that year in the military and I put it into a skydive course. And so I took that course, and then I ran out of money. And I was a student, and you don't have a lot of money as a student. But then I realized that if I kept on skydiving and I kept on, doing my best for the club, like pack canopies and make a little money on packing people's parachutes, helping out, like cleaning toilets, or like, be part of the club and help out, then I would get some jumps for free. And
Okay.
after a while, I was able to be an instructor, like helping other people to learn how to jump out of airplanes. And then I managed to jump for free, because if I was the instructor in the airplane, I could jump for free. And then it just slowly built up my skills and understanding over many years as a student. And then finally, I
Actually,
started to get quite
I'm
good
so
at it.
excited to know, like how was the experience of your first jump, and how did you feel? Can you just explain to us?
Wow. Okay, the first jump. So the first time I jumped, it was out of an airplane, a small airplane, in a
Okay.
small a student skydive club. It was very scary, very scary. I remember I was sitting in the airplane and I felt quite uncomfortable. I think coming from other sports, I was used to being in control, and now I didn't feel control. I was just very scared. And I actually don't remember the jump itself, because I was so scared that I got like a blackout. And I remember I
Okay.
landed, and the instructor came over to me when I landed, and he asked me, how was it? How was it? And I was just, I don't remember. And he was just, what? And then he smiled. I was like, oh yeah, that's normal. Yeah, that's fine. But I instantly could identify this fear and uncertainty to a lot of other experiences I've had in, like holding a presentation for your class in school, or things that could scare me when I was younger. And I was thinking, I just need to do it more, and then I would
Okay.
like it. So I kept on jumping, and did 6, 7, 8 more jumps, and then I started liking it. Then I started to feel a bit control, and I started to enjoy the environment, and I started to be able to see the world below me. And I started to see that ground rush, when the ground is just coming towards me, and I felt mastery, and I felt that I could progress in this.
Okay.
And
So
then
how
I
did
was really.
Okay, so how did this, like you told you were become an instructor, and where you teach your student and all those. So how did this so slowly become your profession? Since you also told you ran out of money and all those. So when did that switch and change happen?
In Well, for me, it was a long journey. And the journey from starting to jump out of airplanes until I went full on professional, it was actually 12 years. And the reason it took 12 years is not because it's very difficult. It's more because I felt I had to take the education at university. I felt that since I had that education, it was sort of expected by my grandfather and father. Like I should work. I should do something proper. And so I kept on working. Like I studied for 6 years and I worked for 5 years. So that's 11 years, right? So that's almost the whole time in those first 12 years. And then I came to a point when I started being more mature, more safe on being myself. And I, I met a good friend today. His name is Yuki Sommer, and he had a completely different view on it, because he just said, no, you just got to go for whatever you dream of. Yeah, just go for it. And he went for it already when he was 20. And I saw that he was able to live out of the sport. I was a little bit afraid of, am I going to make enough money? Is this going to work for
Yeah,
me? But
true.
he told me, and a lot of other people told me, you just have to go for it. And then I just quit my job. The boss found me completely crazy. He told me, are you mad? Like you have a full-time actual job in the Norwegian government. You're saved for life. Like you will make solid money every year until you retire, and you will be like, your life is sorted. And I just, no, I need to do this. I need to quit, and I
Oh
need to
my
go for it.
God,
And then
that's brave.
I just went out and I decided, okay, well, if I'm going to be professional, because at that point I was already quite good at wingsuit flying and base jumping, and I did a lot of projects, and I had recently won the World Cup and became a world champion. So I had a
Yes.
pretty
So
good
so
position.
how was the journey towards becoming a world champion, and how did you feel when you were crowned one of the world champion?
So the first time I won, that was in 2011. And
Okay.
I've been jumping for 11 years at that time. The journey is a journey of passion. It's a journey where I, on quite an early time, I really started looking at birds and animals, birds and things, and how they behave and how they operate. And I was looking at my own community of flyers, and I constantly look for people that were better than myself. Like, who can I be inspired by? Who can teach me something? Who can lift me up to a higher level? Like, who got something? And I constantly ask people for advice. I constantly ask people, what can I do to fly like you, or how can I do this to be
Yes.
better? And people are often very positively surprised when you ask so openly that you want to learn from them. So everybody I asked gave me good advices, and I was just listening and trying my best, and I was jumping a lot and thinking, and then I joined the competition, and it was a bit crazy because I never expected to do very well, but obviously a lot of good advices turned my way, and I won. And I remember the most uncomfortable moment I had during the competition was to stand on ground and have a lot of cameras pointed towards me. It was like a lot of people asking me questions because I never been in a situation before. I was just normally when I land after jump, I feel very like chill and relieved and happy. But then all of a sudden, I was like, no, I have to do interviews and tell about the experience. And I was just like, and
You are in the spotlight and like a movie star in the red
yeah,
carpet.
yeah, it was quite a change in how things were around me, and that performance helped me a lot when I was going professional, for sure, because it turned into a bit of a name that, yeah, like, Espen know what he's doing. He is good. He has won a competition, and then that became a good reputation to have, and it helped me to get in on good sponsors and projects, and that kind of like moved on to more things.
Super. That's nice. And I think I have put you through a couple of questions at the moment. So I'm going to take it a little light and know about you a little bit. So let's move on to a session called the rapid fire. So like obviously you would know what rapid fire is. You got to answer question very quickly and spontaneously what comes to your top of my ear,
Yeah.
like top of your mind. Okay. Can you do this?
Yes, I can do this.
Okay, super. So let's pack the parachute and be ready to jump. So your first question would be, what are you scared of? We don't think so. You're scared of anything. So it would be happy to know.
I'm scared of small rooms. I'm slightly claustrophobic.
Oh, okay. A few insane projects of yours.
Flying, jumping in Antarctica with a wingsuit. Crazy.
Oh my God. Favorite movie star.
Oh, Tom Cruise.
Favorite sportsman.
Uh, Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Sorry, Ibrahimovic.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Okay. Then your inspiration.
My biggest inspiration.
Yeah.
I need to say this really quick. I think Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. Okay. Tech guy, I guess you are. One side you are an adventure, extreme sport adventure athlete, and other side, I think you talk business. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, okay. I'll give out a word, and you can tell in a sentence what it means to you. Okay. Life.
Life is about love and be very honest with yourself and others.
Success.
Success is about waking up on a Monday morning and look forward to the week.
Superb. Failures.
Failures is to easily be offended.
Yes. Adventures.
Adventures are anything where you get goosebumps thinking about what you're about to do?
Dreams.
Dreams are good, but love and family should not be forgotten.
Oh my God, that's something sensible to look at. So I need two things right now. We would love to hear from you. Like, what documentary would you suggest to people who love adventure sport? One documentary
That
and a
love
one
adventure
book.
sport.
Yes,
Documentary.
I'll say
I
miles
think yes.
above.
I think the one that really made a huge impression on me is a documentary called "The Crash Reel."
Okay,
Yeah, Crash
one
Reel. It's
book.
about one
Yeah,
book.
yeah,
Yeah,
please.
about
You were
sports.
telling something.
Yeah, I was just saying that the Crash Reel is about very good snowboarder that got a head injury, and it's about his struggles to cope with it and get back. And it's a very good documentary, very strong, and it it gives a very good image of consequences of when you do mistakes and how to cope with them. It's quite inspiring, or very inspiring. But
Yes.
book, yes, book. I think the book Talent is Overrated.
Which one?
The book is called Talent is
Talent.
Overrated. And it's a book
Okay.
that talks a lot about the value of working hard. Like if you want to learn something, play an instrument or be good in your job, it's all about be willing to learn, be humble and willing to learn. Like listen, take advices, and work really hard on the things that you aren't that good on. But like be willing to do the things you struggle with. It's a good book. Talent is overrated. I use it a lot in training.
Yeah.
It's one of my key things to learn.
Yes, it's so nice to hear from you, like what's into your mind, and that's what you wanted to tap. And thanks for letting us know all these. And your rapid fire is done. Like I knew I had some few big questions as well, but but it's part of the game. Okay, so let's jump on to your life and your journey that you have come across. So, what was this Guinness Book World Record about, and like how did that whole project happen?
So that actually happened by coincidence. I was in China. I was invited to China with a lot of other jumpers, and we were competing on a competition called Wings for Love
Okay.
in a part in southern China. And all of a sudden in the competition, they told us, "We have a surprise for you. We have Guinness World Record here, and they will measure how much you're able to fly up again with your wingsuit, like how many meters you're able to fly up. And
God.
the best person, the best of you to do this will get an official Guinness World Record." And this was the best people we have in the sport, and we all gave everything we had, and it was quite technical. We had to fly by a balloon, so we had to dive down and fly by a balloon and then up again.
Oh my
And they were having
God.
people with their cameras there and measuring it. And I was able to fly 82 meters up again. So 82 meters up before I started to drop down again, and that was just ahead of number two. I think number two had like 81, and I was asked up on a big podium, lots of spectators and music, and it was like this official announcement, and I got this nice award from Guinness that I have back in my house, and it turned into a very special memory, like one of those situations that just happens, and I am prepared as everyone else because this is what we do for a living, but it also comes as a surprise. And then when the surprise comes, you just have to give everything you have and just send it.
Yes, and since you told this, like I had a question to ask few of the Red Bull athletes as well, like Jeff Provenzo and Miles. Well, like they answered it differently, so I just wanted to ask it. Very eager to ask you. Would you like jump from the space like Felix did? Would you be interested on that project?
Yes, I would. If
Yes.
if someone came to me and asked me, would you like to jump from the stratosphere, the outer space, I would say yes, like this. Yes, immediately. If it took me 2 years of training, I would still like no matter. I would say yes. That would be amazing. And Felix
Yes. Oh,
Baumgartner he deserved it, of course, but it's also lucky in a way. Like everybody would love to do it, and he got opportunities. He's really good, both jumper and businessman, and he deserved to be that person. At the same time, I think everybody was looking at like, oh, I wish it was me.
I was back home thinking, why wasn't this project done by a lot of people? Then once I dived deep and got to know what it has behind the scenes, then I thought, okay, this is one lifetime opportunity for a decade or 3 to 4 decades, I guess, and it happened
Yeah.
to him. Yes.
Exactly.
So, yes. So, have you had any near-death experiences, Finn? Obviously, you
Yeah.
are on the edge
Yeah.
all the time. I think
I've
daily
had a
your office is a near-death experience. So, like any close calls.
yes. I've had some. I've had some that are really bad, and I think most jumpers that have done 20 years in jumping off mountains in a wingsuit will have some pretty bad situations. I think the worst I've ever had, I was flying over a forest in France, and another jumper didn't see me, and he came up from below and he hit me. He was kind of coming straight up, and I lost total control, and I was like spinning really fast towards the ground, and I couldn't open my parachute because it was spinning so fast around that I couldn't actually move or do anything. And just before I hit the ground and died, I decided the only thing I can do now is actually to aim for the ground and just dive and then kind of like flare through the forest and see if I can gain some altitude. And I did, and I stopped spinning, and I flew in between some trees, managed to get a little bit of altitude, pulled my parachute, and I crashed into some trees with a halfway open
Oh
parachute.
my
And
God.
I wasn't injured at all. I was just totally fine physically, mentally. I was a bit shocked. I was just sitting there, just why am I alive right now? And I think most jumpers that have a long time in the sport have a story to tell, and
Yes.
it's a story about that humans do mistakes. We do mistakes. We're not meant to fly, and like when you have stumbled sometimes, and not often, but every now and then you actually stumble. Sometimes you forget something, and
Yeah.
in everyday life, that's not necessarily life critical or deadly. But when you jump off a mountain in a wingsuit, any mistake can be deadly, and that's a problem because we do mistakes. And this is a story of me doing a mistake and almost dying and then be lucky, and then I survived, and
I
therefore I
don't
can
think so.
sit
It
here.
was your mistake. It was then the guy who came up. It was his mistake, I guess.
Yeah, it was definitely I shouldn't have been there. I shouldn't be right on top of someone, and so it was like a joint mistake. And
Okay, got it.
but
You are
it's
you're so
mainly not a
humble, I
story of
guess.
yeah,
You're
but
so
it's
humble.
not necessarily a story of doing a mistake or not. It's more a story of
Hmm.
how bad it can get. Even
Okay.
for people that do this a lot, it can turn really bad.
Yes. Totally,
Danger.
totally. We get your point. So, being in this near-death experience and all those, but you still tend to do this, right? So, what attracts you to do, and like even risking your life is fine for you.
I have this life dream. My life dream is to fly like a bird, to be able to jump off a mountain and soar on the winds together with falcons and whatever birds are there, and to get so good and so comfortable with the flying situation that I can truly fly and truly be in control and truly be in nature as a flying individual. This journey is long. It's going to last for the rest of my life. And along the way, I'm doing mistakes. And along the way, it's going to be many dangerous situations. And whenever I do a mistake, like the one I just told you about, I have to find a solution. I have to sit down and analyze, okay, what went wrong and what can I do differently? What can I do to not do that mistake again? And if I find an answer to that, like if I find a solution, I'm happy to move on. And
Okay.
I think it's partly of a bit of an optimistic personality, that I really believe that I can fix things. And that combined with a bit of an adventurous mindset and this big, big, big dream of flying, it makes me just keep on going. And it makes me wake up on a Monday morning and look forward to the week.
Yes. When you say flying, like I think your heart lights up even
Yeah.
when you speak. It's like that passionate you are towards flying. We could able to feel that. And like in terms of like you go through a lot of mental stress, I guess, and then in terms of training you spend hours together, and then with regards to all these physical mental training, so how do you cope up and how is your training like like for cricketers, like for example, if a football
Yeah.
player we see them in the field, so how is your training and mental aspect and physical aspect as well?
Yeah. I think they probably can recognize some of this. So ever since I went professional, I got some professional help to work this out, but you can kind of put it in 4 pillars. It's the mental aspect, like to be mentally ready for what I'm about to do, and then it's the physical aspect, which is be like prepared with the right muscle memory and be physically able, like endurance and strength and all of that. And then it's the gear, like the technical aspect, like to actually have the best gear. I need a good wingsuit, parachute, like all the systems, helmet, goggles, all the gear need to be perfect. And then
You just
lastly,
got
it's
the
a yeah,
zebra
yeah,
one, right?
it's
Yes.
a really good suit. But then lastly,
Okay.
it's the tactical plan, that I put all this like mental, technical, and physical ability that I built up over a long time, and I put it into the tactical approach to whatever project or whatever I'm doing. So, and then of course comes the question like how are you mentally prepared, how are you physically prepared, and all of that. And it all comes down to preparation. It all comes down to be able to break down, for me at least, like break down everything into small parts and reduce risk. So I identify risk and I reduce the risk. So I just do everything I possibly can to gain control in the situation I'm putting myself in. And then,
Okay.
of course, there are always uncertainty. In cricket, you don't know the opponent fully performs. Like you never know fully what's going to happen in a match, but
Yeah.
you know how to prepare. You know everything you can. You have a lot of knowledge in how to do your very best. And
Yeah.
then in the end, all you can do is just to go on the field and give 100% and accept that the result will be whatever it is. And all you should really expect of yourself is to do your best. And that's what I'm working on every time. Like if I can do my very best every time, I need to be happy. And yeah, so that's.
Yes.
And
Super.
then of course there's another aspect with vibration. It's like that little risk that you can't deal with, or it can be like the winds, earth. It can be like these small things you can't really care about. Just throw it away and focus on the things you can do something about. Because if I constantly want to have 100% control and I don't accept to have 99, like if 99.9% isn't good enough, then I'm just going to be a nerve wreck. I have to just be
Mm.
like, I have to be a little like, come on, let's just go. Just send it. Accept the risk
Yes.
and go.
Yes. Beautifully said. I think it summarizes your whole like whole life, I would say, like in 4 pillars you told, and that's your lifestyle actually, basically. And that's so amazing to hear from you. And we have a couple of questions right now. We are almost to the end of our session. And like if somebody is if somebody else wanted to be like you, in the sense like a wingsuit pilot, what career guidance would you give to them?
First of all, I would like to warn people that this is not an this is potentially quite a difficult job, because it's hard to make money. You're not going to get rich.
Mm.
It's much easier to take a more normal job. So it has to come from the heart. It has to really be something that people are willing to work on for many years. Secondly, more and more tangible is, no matter who we are, we need to start by taking a skydive course. To take a skydive course is in many places in at least in the western part of the world, like USA and Europe, it's very common. It's also quite common in like the Emirates and you have many like Australia and so forth and so forth. For example, in India, I don't think you have the normal accelerated fall course AFF, but you have quite a few really good skydivers actually from India, some really good wingsuiters as well. But I think most of them have done the course in another
In
country.
Dubai. Yeah.
Either Dubai, or they have started as military officers. So they have started in the Air Force or Special Forces and then got like skydive experience there. And then they made money in the military, and then they have moved that to Dubai
It's
or
true.
to a commercial. But it's a long journey, and that's important to remember that. And it doesn't have to be like, oh, I want to go professional in by taking a skydive course. It's more have the resources to go and take a skydive course, learn as much as you can, and then make a decision afterwards. Because after you're done with the skydive course, you have to do many jumps. Like you have to do 200-300
100
sky.
plus. Okay.
Yeah, at least 200 skydives before you can put on a wingsuit, and then you can move on. An interesting thing about
Yeah.
India, though, it's that in the northern parts of India, you have some mountains that looks really tempting. There
Yeah.
are some really
Yeah.
beautiful
Yeah.
mountains in northern India. So I can easily picture that if I
One is
if I
right
if
behind
if I
me.
if I was an
One is
Indian,
right
like if
behind me.
yeah, exactly. Is
Everest.
that Everest?
Yeah.
Wait, yeah, it's Everest.
My
Okay,
dream is to climb it one day. Hopefully that
mm,
happens in the future.
yeah, that would be
Yes.
something. I don't think I have the altitude sickness ability. I would just get sick if I did that.
Yeah.
I grew up in the lowlands, but if I was from India and I was in the same position as I am today, I would be a lot in northern India and exploring possibilities to jump, because it's one of the countries with the biggest potential for wingsuit mountain jumping in the
Yeah.
world. That's India.
Yes. Yes.
I kind of sidetrack on the subject here, but ultimately, get a skydive course and find your motivation, and then move on and move on and move on from there.
Okay. You are asking people to take a step by step approach and then see
Yeah.
whether they like it, and for to the long term just wait for it, and then uh,
Mm,
then you can fly like a bird. Okay.
exactly.
Exactly. Hopefully, when you come to India, please do let me know. I'll take you to places in northern India. I've been there for like a year or so. Please do let me know, and also I can show you mountains there. I've climbed few.
We have a deal. We have an agreement. I
Yes,
will
yes,
join you in northern India.
yes, absolutely, for sure. Okay, what would you
But
tell to
Everest,
people?
you need to go by yourself. I'm not joining you to Everest.
Yes, Everest is another different story. Maybe we'll go for small mountains and you can
Yeah.
jump off. I'll climb and I'll wait for you. Maybe that happens. Okay, what would you like to tell to people who are chasing their dreams?
Oh, that's such a big question.
You can
I
concise
think,
it and
yes, be very honest with yourself. Be be honest about what you really want in life, and try and find an idea that gives you goosebumps, like really goosebumps. And remember that a dream can have many smaller dreams before, and the more you can kind of set up the journey towards the dream into small little more possible dreams to achieve, that big dream far in the future can actually come one day. But if the dream becomes too big and too far ahead, and you don't have any happiness in between, it can be a life with a lot of frustration that take you away
yes,
from it. Just put it into small pieces and start with the small things, like be happy with what you have right now, and then move from there, and then you will get it one day.
Yes, beautifully said, and I think he's saying from his heart out, and through his experience that he have come across in life, and like obviously we know what an elite athlete he is, and like I think it's a big takeaway for all the people who have been listening this or afterwards when you listen to this podcast, and like with two questions I have. Whom do you want to thank for the journey that you have had till date? Like few peoples that you told you have advised you, guided you, and then like some miracle would have happened, right? So whom do you want to thank at this point of time?
The most important thing for who I am today is my mother and my father. Unfortunately, my father is no longer alive, but he was my very good friend and uh, hiking partner, like going into the mountains, and he taught me how to go out in nature and control risk and find joy in it. And my mom was very much is very much the same, and she brought me into nature as well, and those two set the path for me for sure. And apart from that, it's the person or the skilled flyer I am today is fully thanks to my girlfriend Amber Forte, because since I met her in 2016, I have learned more than I learned in the previous 16 years. The learning curve the last couple of years being with her has been extremely steep, because she had taught me the value of working on the small things to achieve something big. And I'm forever thankful for that. Yeah, so that's the people.
Beautiful. I hope she would be happy watching this.
Yeah, maybe. I've told
Not
her many
maybe,
times.
for
Yeah,
sure.
I've told her many times.
Okay.
My girlfriend is incredibly good at what she does. So she's she's a super talented flyer. So
Yes, I
she
actually
knows.
messaged her for coming to the show as well, I guess, but never got a reply. Unlucky me.
Oh.
Okay.
Hmm.
And yes, last question would be how much would you rate your life from 1 to 10 with regards to satisfaction level that you have? How
Like
much
right
would you
now.
rate? Yes,
I would be lying if I said 10. It wouldn't really be truth. I think I'm a good 8.
eat. Okay, nice.
Yeah, it's there are many good things, but at the same time, there is a lot of uncertainty for me and my girlfriend in like the financial situation of being professionally what we do, and I can sense that this uncertainty in Corona times, we have lost a lot of money the last year because we can't travel and do our job and do things. So that brings us a little bit down, but at the same time, it's pretty good because I have learned through the last 10 years that it sorts out. Like you can even be in
Yeah.
the hardest times and really everything looks dark, but then it's just funny. A couple of years later, you look back and you kind of like, why was I worrying so much? It's okay.
Yes.
Just keep on going.
Yes, very true. And uh, like, what is your ultimate goal in life, Espen? Like, what do you think is your purpose for life, or else, like, however you can put it, this is my ultimate goal in life, Karthik.
Well, I think I've set that path now. So my ultimate goal in life is to be able to open my wings and fly until I choose not to fly anymore.
Sorry.
I think my ultimate purpose in life, as you know, like as the path has been set now with me doing so much flying, the ultimate purpose, as shallow and strange as it sounds, maybe, is that I am able to take off and fly until I choose to land. Maybe in 5 minutes,
Oh,
maybe in 2 hours, Or
Hours.
maybe
Okay.
I fly until the next day.
Oh
That will
my
be the
God.
purpose.
Amazing. I hope I'm just excited to see whether that happens to you, and
Yeah.
I think you will pull it off to an extent. Like, okay, I'm done flying. You'll come to that state of mind. And thanks a lot, Espen Fadness, for joining the show. It's an honor and a pleasure. As I told you already, it's so amazing to talk to you and get to know what's inside your mind. And you also shared your honest journey about what you have come across, the struggles you have been into, and you have been a great inspiration to all the people around the globe, and especially to me. So that's why I wrote to you, and I think I eventually started to see all these wingsuit jumpers, and then got inspired by them, and you are one amongst them, and I'm so happy to talk to you.
Thank you very much for letting me talk with you. And I have to, this is coming straight from the heart. This the way you asked me questions, and the way you ran the live talk with you was really fun and different than what I've experienced before. It was fun how you changed between like the short questions and then come up with the thought and all this. I really liked it. It was a new way of doing it, and so this has been a great time. Yeah, a really fun session. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Big words, and I hope more sessions comes up like this, and like people's uh, like goals. Many people here wanted to do wingsuit and all those. As you told, we aren't aware of whether it has a career path, and like people, obviously, society has a burden towards every people out here. So I hope they see you and get inspired. And thank you.
Absolutely.
You're such a sweetheart, and hopefully to meet you here in India.
Hope
Very
so too.
excited actually. Yeah. Thank you and take care. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye bye.